Most people are obsessing over belly fat. They're counting calories, buying waist trainers, doing sit-ups every morning, all focused on that visible fat they can see and pinch. But what if I told you that the most dangerous fat in your body is the one you cannot see at all? There is fat that builds silently, deep inside your liver, and it does its damage slowly, quietly, without giving you a single warning sign. Slows down your metabolism. It drains your energy levels until you feel tired doing the simplest things. It disrupts the way your body processes sugar and stores it. And over time, it sets you on a path toward serious disease, things like type 2 diabetes, cirrhosis, and even liver failure. And here is the part that should stop you cold. You could have it right now and feel completely fine. No pain, just a gradual decline that most people never trace back to their liver. But here is the other side of that coin, the hopeful side. What if in just 3 weeks you could start reversing this? Not someday. Not after months of suffering. 3 weeks. That is what emerging clinical evidence and real patient outcomes are showing us. That when the liver receives the right targeted nutritional support, fat does not just decrease slowly. It can drop by up to 46% in a matter of weeks. Now pause and think about what that could mean for your energy, your weight, your blood sugar, and your long-term health. My name is Dr. Hana Sato. I have spent over 2 decades practicing medicine, and a large part of my work has been helping patients who came to me exhausted, frustrated, and confused. They had tried diets. They had exercised. Some had done everything right, or so they thought. And yet they still felt stuck. Still had stubborn weight that would not move. Still woke up tired after a full night of sleep. Time and again, when we looked deeper, the issue traced back to one hidden problem. Too much fat stored in the liver. Once we addressed that, everything else began to shift. Weight started moving. Energy came back. Blood sugar stabilized. It was not magic. It was simply giving the liver what it needed to do its job. And that is exactly what this teaching is about. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through 5 of the most powerful, research-backed supplements that directly support your liver's ability to burn fat, detoxify efficiently, and restore metabolic balance. I will not just tell you what they are. I will explain why they work at a biological level, how to use them correctly, and what pitfalls to avoid, because doing this wrong can mean getting no results at all, even if you are consistent. But before we begin, I want to ask you something personal. Have you ever tried to lose weight, eaten better, moved more, done what the experts told you, and still felt completely stuck? If your answer is yes, there is a very real chance your liver is at the center of that struggle. And that is not your fault. Most people are never told to look there. Now, one important thing before we go into the supplements. No supplement in the world will do the work that food and lifestyle need to do. These 5 compounds are powerful, but they are designed to support a foundation, not replace it. What you eat every single day either adds to the fat in your liver or helps clear it. That relationship matters enormously. Supplement number 1, the Foundation Builder. The first supplement is one that most people have never connected to liver health. It is rarely talked about in this context, and yet without it, your liver literally cannot begin to repair itself properly. I am talking about methionine, specifically its active form, known as SAMe, which stands for S-adenosylmethionine. Here is how to think about it. Your liver is constantly performing hundreds of chemical reactions. It is breaking down fats, neutralizing toxins, producing bile, managing cholesterol, and regulating blood sugar, all at the same time. For those reactions to happen correctly, your liver cells need methyl groups. Think of methyl groups as tiny molecular tools that enable chemical transformations. SAMe is the primary donor of those methyl groups in your body. Without enough SAMe, your liver's biochemical machinery slows down. Fat starts to accumulate because the processes responsible for packaging and exporting fat from the liver become sluggish. Detoxification suffers because the pathways that neutralize harmful compounds depend on this same system. In short, your liver goes from working at full capacity to struggling just to keep up. Research has shown that deficiencies in this nutrient directly accelerate liver fat accumulation. That means if your body is low in methionine, which happens easily when the diet lacks quality protein, you are not just missing a nutrient. You are removing a critical tool from your liver's workshop. Methionine is found naturally in eggs, chicken, beef, fish, and dairy. If your diet is rich in high-quality animal protein, you are likely getting a reasonable amount. But for people dealing with significant liver fat, the supplemental form, SAMe taken directly, provides much stronger and more targeted support. Here is my clinical observation after years of working with patients. Most people unknowingly sabotage their liver repair by not addressing this basic biochemistry. They focus on cutting carbs or adding green tea, but they overlook whether the liver even has the raw materials it needs to do the actual work. This is where many people's efforts fall short, not because they are not trying, but because they are missing the foundation. Supplement number 2, the Ancient Liver Protector. The second compound has been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years. Ancient cultures from India to China relied on it long before modern science existed. And now, modern research is confirming what traditional healers observed over centuries. This plant has a profound ability to protect and heal the liver. It is curcumin, the active compound found in turmeric. Curcumin works through several mechanisms that are directly relevant to fatty liver disease. First, it is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Liver fat and liver inflammation go together, one feeds the other. When fat accumulates in liver cells, it triggers an inflammatory response that then causes more cellular damage, which leads to more fat storage. Curcumin interrupts this cycle at the source by suppressing the key inflammatory signaling pathways inside liver tissue. Second, curcumin improves insulin sensitivity. This is critical because most cases of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease are closely connected to insulin resistance. When cells stop responding well to insulin, the body sends more and more of it, and one of insulin's effects is to tell the liver to store fat. Curcumin helps reverse this signal, so the liver receives less instruction to store and more room to burn. Third, studies have shown curcumin directly lowers the rate of fat deposition inside liver cells, reducing the buildup of triglycerides in hepatic tissue. But here is the critical issue that most people get completely wrong. In its raw form, curcumin has extremely poor bioavailability. That means even if you eat turmeric every day, in your food, in your tea, in your morning smoothie, your gut barely absorbs it. Most of it passes through your system before it ever reaches your liver. So the question is not just whether you are taking it. The question is whether your body is actually absorbing it. There are two main solutions to this. The first is to combine curcumin with piperine, the compound found in black pepper, which increases absorption by up to 2000%. The second is to use a specialized formulation such as phytosymbound curcumin or nanocurcumin, which are engineered specifically to bypass the absorption problem. In my experience, this is one of those situations where quality matters far more than quantity. A smaller dose of highly bioavailable curcumin will do more for your liver than a large dose of the standard powder that your body cannot properly use. Supplement number 3, the liver's body armor. The third compound is remarkable in a very specific way. It is powerful enough that it has been used in emergency medical situations. Hospitals use a form of it intravenously to protect the liver from acute, severe damage. Think about that for a moment. Something strong enough to be deployed in emergency care also exists in supplemental form for everyday liver support. This is N-acetylcysteine, commonly known as NAC. To understand why NAC matters so much, you need to understand glutathione. Glutathione is your liver's master antioxidant. It is the most powerful detox molecule your body produces, and the liver depends on it to neutralize harmful compounds. Everything from environmental toxins and alcohol metabolites to the byproducts of normal metabolism. When glutathione levels are high, the liver handles stress well. When glutathione is depleted, liver cells become vulnerable and damage accelerates. The problem is that you cannot simply swallow glutathione and expect it to work. It breaks down in digestion before it gets where it needs to go. But NAC is a direct precursor to glutathione. Your body takes NAC, converts it into cysteine, and uses that cysteine to build fresh glutathione right inside the liver cells where it is needed most. This is exactly why NAC is used in emergency rooms for acetaminophen overdose, Panadol poisoning, which is one of the most common causes of acute liver failure worldwide. The overdose depletes glutathione so rapidly that the liver begins dying within hours. NAC is administered to rapidly restore glutathione and halt the destruction. It is one of those cases where medicine has given us a very clear demonstration of what a compound can do under extreme conditions. Now consider this. If NAC can protect the liver under those extreme circumstances, toxic overload, massive cell destruction, imagine what consistent supplementation can do against the everyday damage most of us are exposing our livers to without even realizing it. For people with fatty liver, NAC serves a dual function. It boosts glutathione to reduce oxidative damage to liver cells, and it also appears to have a direct anti-inflammatory effect on hepatic tissue. Multiple clinical studies have shown reductions in liver enzymes, the markers doctors use to measure liver stress, in patients who supplemented with NAC consistently over several weeks. Supplement number 4, the fat exporter. Here is something about the liver that surprises a lot of people when I explain it in the clinic. Most people assume that losing liver fat is simply a matter of burning it, that if you eat less and move more, the liver will automatically clear itself out. But that is only half the story. The liver does not just burn fat. It also has to package it and export it. Fat in the liver must be wrapped in a lipoprotein, a transport particle, and shipped out through the bloodstream to be used elsewhere in the body. If that export system is broken or undersupplied, fat gets stuck in the liver even when the body is technically trying to clear it. The nutrient responsible for keeping this export system running is choline. Choline is essential for the production of VLDL, very low-density lipoprotein, which is the main transport vehicle the liver uses to move fat out. Without adequate choline, The liver can produce fat through normal metabolic processes, but it cannot package it and ship it out efficiently. The result is exactly what the name describes. Fat accumulates in liver cells, not because the body is producing too much, but because it cannot move it out fast enough. Choline deficiency is one of the most consistently documented causes of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in nutritional research. In animal studies, a choline-deficient diet reliably produces fatty liver within days. In human studies, people with inadequate choline intake show significantly higher rates of liver fat accumulation. This is one of the most overlooked causes of fatty liver I see in clinical practice today, and it is particularly common in people who eat low-fat diets, because many of the richest natural sources of choline are animal foods like egg yolks, liver, and fatty fish. People who avoid those foods in an effort to eat healthier may unknowingly be creating a choline deficit that stalls their liver's ability to clear fat. So the real question for some people is not, why am I not burning fat? The better question might be, why is my liver failing to export it? Choline supplementation, particularly in the form of CDP choline or alpha-GPC, which have superior absorption, can meaningfully support the liver's fat export capacity and help reverse the accumulation cycle. Supplement number 5, the fat-burning switch. The fifth and final supplement goes straight to the root mechanism of how the liver decides whether to store fat or burn it. And it works by activating something that scientists have called the body's master metabolic switch. That compound is berberine. Berberine is a plant alkaloid found in several herbs including barberry and golden seal, and it has been the subject of extensive clinical research over the past 2 decades. What makes berberine particularly remarkable is its ability to activate an enzyme called AMPK, adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. AMPK is truly the switch I am describing. When AMPK is activated, it signals the cell, including liver cells, to shift from energy storage mode into energy burning mode. It tells the liver to stop synthesizing new fat and start oxidizing the fat that is already there. It improves insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. It reduces the production of new glucose by the liver, which helps normalize blood sugar, and it directly lowers the rate at which the liver deposits triglycerides into its own tissue. Clinical trials have consistently shown significant reductions in liver fat when berberine is used consistently alongside lifestyle changes. In some studies, the reductions were comparable to pharmaceutical drugs used for metabolic conditions, which is a remarkable finding for a plant compound. However, I must be direct about something very important here, especially for those of you who are managing diabetes or taking blood sugar medication. Because berberine lowers blood glucose through a mechanism similar to metformin, combining it with insulin or other glucose-lowering medications can push blood sugar too low. This is not theoretical. It is a real clinical risk that requires medical supervision. If you are on any blood sugar medication, do not add berberine without speaking to your doctor first. This is not a warning I give lightly. For those without those concerns, berberine is one of the most potent natural metabolic tools we have available. Think of it as literally flipping a switch in your liver, from storage mode to burning mode. The effects on liver fat, blood sugar, cholesterol, and overall metabolic health are well documented and clinically meaningful. Now here is where everything comes together, and this is the part that explains the 46% figure. Each of these 5 supplements has real measurable effects on its own, but they do not work through the same pathway. They work through different mechanisms that are each targeting a distinct part of the fatty liver problem. And when you address all of those parts at the same time, the results compound. Same provides the raw biochemical building blocks the liver needs to run its repair processes. Curcumin reduces the inflammation that perpetuates fat accumulation and cell damage. NAC restores glutathione, the liver's primary defense against oxidative stress and toxic burden. Choline keeps the fat export system functioning, so that fat does not get trapped inside liver cells. And berberine activates the metabolic switch that tells the liver to stop storing and start burning. One builds, one protects, one detoxifies, one transports, one activates. Together, they form a complete support system for a liver that is under metabolic stress, and that is how you achieve the kind of results that clinical research is documenting. Not through one magic pill, but through addressing the entire biological process from multiple angles simultaneously. I want to end with something important. Everything I have shared with you today is grounded in clinical evidence and in 2 decades of patient care. But supplements are not the whole answer. They are part of a larger picture that includes what you eat, how you move, how you sleep, and how you manage stress. Your liver is extraordinarily resilient. It is one of the few organs in the human body capable of regenerating itself, but it needs the right conditions to do that. If you are currently on any medication, managing a chronic condition, or pregnant, please speak with your healthcare provider before starting any of these supplements. That is not a formality, it is genuinely important. Some of these compounds interact with medications in ways that require medical oversight. But if you are someone who has felt stuck, who has tried and cannot understand why nothing is working. I hope this teaching has given you a new lens. Sometimes the answer is not in working harder. It is in looking at the right place. Your liver is the center of your metabolism. Support it correctly, and your body has a remarkable ability to find its way back to balance. I am Dr. Hana Sato. Thank you for giving me your time and attention today. Take care of your liver, and it will take care of you.